My name is Suzanne Chuparkoff. I obviously go to the University of Michigan. I am a senior. I'm studying economics, and my hometown is Saline, Michigan, which is about 20 minutes south of Ann Arbor.
My name is Sam Hutner. I'm the president of the Pickleball Club at Indiana University. I'm a junior studying information systems and economics, and I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I'm Jayce Fitzpatrick. I'm a junior at The Ohio State University, studying chemical engineering. I help run the competitive team and organize practices for the club pickleball team at Ohio State.
At the University of Michigan, we have two teams, a social team and a competitive team. Both practice on Monday nights, and the competitive team also practice on Tuesday nights as well. For a competitive team, we do have tryouts, and we have a coach who helps run those and decide on the teams themselves. And then the social aspect, just anyone can come, open play, come as they choose, whichever time they want to come. Competitive team is run where practices are mandatory, and then you're expected to be able to be available for all the tournaments that we come to as well. And our practices are kind of run for the competitive team. We do an hour of drilling and then an hour of implementing those drills in our play. And then on the social side, it's just round robin, getting to know each other, getting to play with new faces. And on Mondays, we have the competitive team playing next to the social team too. So we're still all intermingling, getting to say hi, meeting new faces, and making sure everyone knows that, you know, we're excited to have them try out again in the fall if they decided not to try out, or try to give them an experience so they feel comfortable enough to try out their next semester.
At IU, we just started our official competitive team this semester. Last semester, we just had 4 or 5 guys that played a lot, and so we just kind of informally gathered together and started playing in some of the tournaments. But on our social side, we have about 600 to 700 people, and we just go out and play twice a week. We just got indoor courts, which are huge, so we get to go there. And then we're working on getting courts on campus to get people out and going. So we usually do open play. We call it hangover pickleball, a Sunday morning. So that's usually fun. And then we do a couple ladders throughout the week for more of the social people that want to gear up towards that development or competitive program. And so right now our competitive program is kind of in flux because we just started it. We're figuring some things out, but we have 24 people, 12 guys, 12 girls, 2 practices a week, and we're still trying to figure out that format. So yeah, it's really exciting stuff.
Nice. At OSU, we do the same thing, have competitive practices as well as social play. Our social play is Fridays from noon to 4, so kind of give a wide open range to allow everybody in between classes to kind of stop by on Friday, have some fun. Right now, our competitive practices are Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m., which is kind of an odd time, but that's the only time we can reserve the indoor courts. We have 2 tennis courts with lines on either side, so 4 rollout courts helps out. But during the winter, we can't get as much play in. But during the fall, and then when it warms back up, we have 8 courts running, 8 to 12, depending on how many courts we're able to reserve. As far as competitive goes, I think we have about 40 members. I think it's 25 guys, 15 girls, around there. And our social club has around 250 members. And we try and run social tournaments, get back together, have everybody in the club intermingle, kind of stuff like that.
I started playing about almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in June, actually. My mom had invited me to come with her to the US Open. She was playing in it with her partner. And I was like, you know what? It's a free trip to Florida. And I went and I watched her, and I got to watch the pros play, specifically J-Dub and his sister. And I was like, I have to play this game. This is awesome. After that, I joined the Michigan Pickleball Club, started as the tournament match coordinator, now the president, and just kind of got addicted from that moment.
With me, I played high school tennis growing up, and I was huge on tennis. And then I had a really bad chiropractor experience, and broke 4 of my vertebrae, and I couldn't play tennis anymore. And so part of my PT was they were like, "Oh, play some pickleball," you know. And so I started playing with the old people at the Y, and quickly it became my new thing. So yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask Sam, I know a ton of people come from tennis, it's all the conversion. I never played any other racket sport before this other than ping pong with friends. Is there a big difference between all your strokes and stuff? Because we have, I think, 2 or 3 tennis players on our club team, but not a ton.
Yeah, well, for me, it was weird because I always was like a baseline player in doubles, and so I would get to the net, but not as much. And so like pickleball, so you're all at the kitchen, all at the net, so that's big to adjust. And then just like the stroke, like the backstroke's a little bit different because in pickleball, you aren't doing the full swings usually. When in tennis, you are. But after, I get it takes a while, but you get used to it. I think it helps though, having the background and being able to know like what top spin is, slice, etc.
My story's kind of weird. So my brother's girlfriend's mom introduced me to it. She's like the one that like got me into the sport. But about not this past summer, but the summer before that, I played with a bunch of friends. I got like a call at 9 a.m. like, hey, we need one person. Like, can you get to the park? So like I went and played with them at the beginning of summer, and then I didn't play until August, and then got like an intro class, and then from there it kind of just took off and started playing like 3-4 days a week, and now I'm playing like 5 if I can, and just playing as much as possible.
And
Kind of
you
like a
wrestled,
really
right?
Yeah, I wrestled and played lacrosse, so kind of like two sports
Totally
that like I
opposite
wouldn't
sport
get.
there.
Yeah, but Tyson McGuffin wrestled, so I'll take it. There's some
Oh, I did not
correlation.
know that.
I didn't
Neither
know.
did I until I was
Tyson
listening
McGuffin,
to
up and coming.
Yeah, I was listening to one of like the podcasts, and they were like, "Oh, they mentioned something." I was like, "Hey, there we go. There's the connection. That makes sense there."
My family's actually from Ohio. I was born in Ohio, and so they have like paddles, kind of a bigger sport there.
Gotcha.
So I played paddle tennis a lot with like my grandparents and my family. So I had that background a little bit. I also played competitive tennis like in middle school. I'm not really sure that counts. So I kind of had some sort of swing, some sort of understanding of how to play a racket sport, which was super helpful. But for me in high school, I ran track, played soccer, and played field hockey. So kind of opposite from anything, with my hands or anything like that. So
Gotcha. I think like that's probably like one of the big things though, is like an athletic background definitely helps. Like it's not like the only thing that helps, but I would say like I feel like most of our competitive team members probably have that more athletic background, that kind of competitive
Yes, you're-
nature, I guess, to them.
I've gone to, let's see, 2 Duper Nationals and going on my 5th regional, I believe. And we see a lot of the same teams, and it's always super exciting because you get to see the people you play with, and there's always such a great community. Everyone's, cheering for each other from different teams during matches and saying good job. And a lot of times we all kind of stay at the same hotels too. So we'll plan to like go get dinner, hang out, get ice cream. So it's fun to like see everybody. And then outside of even like the Duper stuff, some members from my team, we've traveled to Columbus to play in just like normal tournaments, and we've seen Jayce and some other teammates from Ohio State, and it's just fun to play with them outside of Duper too. And every time you see anyone from the community, it's just welcoming with open arms, and it's, hey, great to see you again, how have you been? And we all keep up on social media, which is a big platform, and I probably have everybody's phone number, at least from like the Big Ten, and probably more than that. So we're all in contact all the time.
Yeah, it's really weird because usually, like when I've played other sports, you walk in like wanting to like kill your opponent, and it's all
So
bad
true.
blood. And in pickleball, it's so weird because as soon as you're done, you guys are all good friends again.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, that was a great shot that you
Yeah,
had.
even like in the middle of the match, like you're saying like good
Yes.
shot, you're laughing, and I've never experienced that with any other sport or competitive thing.
Yeah, me neither. And I love it, honestly.
Yeah.
It keeps it lighthearted. It keeps it super fun.
Definitely a massive difference from me coming from wrestling, which is like one-on-one. It's like me against you, physical sport, and like it's not like a super friendly thing. Like there's a mutual respect that you're doing something super hard, but like not like pickleball where it's like, okay, nice shot. Like I'm not congratulating people in wrestling. It's like, okay, move on to the next thing. Like I want to break you, do this, yada yada. But pickleball, it's everybody kind of is friends afterwards, like you said. Tournaments are definitely a nice environment. Nationals was super fun. That was November down in Georgia. That was a ton of fun. Nice weather to play in. Indiana was there, but Michigan didn't go to the APP collegiate one, right?
No, we wanted to, but we had a team, and then everyone was like, it's our winter break, we'd rather go on vacation. And I was like, that is fair enough. So unfortunately we didn't get to send anybody, but I heard it was a great start for the APP tournaments. So,
Yeah, how was it? I tested
Yeah.
positive for COVID the morning of, so
oh
I
no.
got so screwed. I'm still mad about it, but
Definitely, like it was fun, like great team environment, like ton of courts, good playing, but it was a lot different than Duper. Like instead
I
of
heard the
running,
scoring was weird.
yeah, so like it was rally scoring, but you would switch sides like when you scored the point. So they kind of
Oh.
combined aspects of side out scoring with rally, but like whoever was on the right when the ball came over, that's who would be serving. And then it ran women's singles, women's doubles, men's doubles, one thing of mixed. And like each round counted for a different number of points, and then they tallied total points too. It's like it was just a way different format than how Duper runs their team stuff with the gender doubles and then 2 games of mixed with the Dream Breaker.
I would not want to be the person counting all that points and keeping track of that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot different. I think for the refs too, that was nice. Like we had refs the whole time, so like they made sure you were in the correct position and everything with the new formats. Like that was super nice, but definitely a lot different than all the other tournaments I've played in. Still a good experience, but just a way different tournament feel.
yeah. So did you vibe with having singles, like not being a dream breaker, or would you rather have singles only be part of the dream breaker?
It kind of depends. Like I personally I don't play singles a lot. I have somewhat of a bad knee from wrestling, so pickleball doubles is super nice for me, but singles isn't the best. I kind of like having it as a dream breaker just to signify that like it's just like another part of the sport, but I think it's like a change in focus as far as like APP wants, I think, like singles to be more involved, whereas MLP and that side of things wants it to be like more of a double sport. So I think kind of if you just look at like growth of the sport and like where each company wants it to go, I think they just have different visions as far as doubles versus doubles and singles. I kind of like it being a dream breaker to be like, okay, we're just gonna go head on head and see who can win after you play the doubles matches, and
Yeah.
only have 1 game of mixed too.
Mhm.
So it's kind
I-
of send your best out each time.
Mix is probably my favorite to play, so I'm not sure that would be up my alley because like I'm not a singles player. Even though I was a track runner in a past life, running is still not my thing. And that's a lot of running. But it is cool, like you said, to have like the different tournament setup so that if that is something you're interested in, then you can have a tournament that is more catered to it. I did hear they're bringing out regional events too. They're gonna have like 5 of them, I guess, coming out. I don't know if you guys heard anything about that or not, or have any more details. But
Oh, is that the Cincinnati one?
no, the Cincinnati one is run by Ben Racy at Whitewater.
Okay.
Gotcha. So that's just another tournament in Cincinnati. It's not like Duper or anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, same thing with the one I'm hosting here in Michigan.
Gotcha. You guys will have to send me the links because I have to figure out all of our competitive schedule. That's like on my
Yeah.
to-do list.
Same
Yeah,
here.
I have some really cool prizes coming in and a lot of sponsors giving a lot of great goodies. So I'm hoping that'll be a draw in for a lot of teams. And it's something a little different too. It's we're running kind of like a later night tournament, just kind of in one day, because like traveling for like a 2-day tournament or even like a 3-day tournament, it gets kind of hard, especially being in school and having class on Monday and sometimes class on Fridays and getting coordinated, getting back and forth. So we're hoping that event style will maybe stick a little and be a little better for schools for sure. Sam, can you elaborate on Timber's Big Ten tournament idea?
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so I think it's official. I think we're actually having it. It's going to be sometime in April, and we're going to have all the Big Ten schools down in Bloomington for a big. It will be the first time we have like Washington and Oregon as part of the Big Ten.
Ooh, I'm excited.
We're working on getting. We're working on getting some type of deal where we can actually print it off as like the Big Ten, the official conference thing. So that'll be sick. Some sick merch. Then so
Merch.
far we have most of the schools except Wisconsin. So I think we're just gonna replace them with like Wisconsin Whitewater. But yeah, so I think that will be a lot of fun. And then we have like our first big match against our first like official head-on-head match with Purdue next weekend. So
Are you guys gonna maybe stream that at all, like on social media or anything? Because I would love to watch that.
yeah, I'm sure we will. We're still trying to figure it out, and we're trying to figure out like how we're gonna structure it and all that. But I think it's next weekend. So I'll let you guys know.
So you running next weekend, Duper and that?
Oh wait, shoot! It would be
Probably
2 weekends. My bad.
2 weekends.
Yeah, my
I was
bad.
thinking the same thing, Jayce. I was like, double header, that's balls. I love it.
Run Friday night against Purdue and then show up to the Duper Regional.
Yeah.
Always do it.
We can do it.
Do you guys do like with Yola or like Selkirk? Do you guys have like paddle sponsorships for the club or no?
I'm actually working on a Selkirk one. So where we play is Wolverine Pickleball in Ann Arbor, and they're sponsored by Selkirk. And so I'm kind of using that as a little bit of an in to be like, we're the Wolverines, you're sponsoring Wolverine Pickleball. We practice here, we want to represent. So it's something that's in the works for us for sure.
We have a couple like players that are individually sponsored, like Mevin Carter. But other than that, we got super lucky. We had a dude on our like social side of the club, and he tutored a kid in his math class and helped him out with a math test. And that kid's dad works at Paddle Tech, and so Paddle Tech gave us like 30 paddles, like 30 misprints. So we have a bunch of those, but other than that, we don't really have anything official for the club yet.
I was gonna say, because I know like Franklin, I think has sent us balls a couple of times, just kind of help out with the club. But like a different league I play in, like my home place, they get like Selkirk has like I think some sort of sponsorship with like just that individual league, and we get cheaper balls. So I didn't know if you guys had anything like that I should be searching around for.
Jayce, is your home court Pickle Shack or Pickle and Chill?
Yeah, Pickle Shack for me. It's like 10 minutes down the road for me.
Nice.
Pickle and Chill is a little closer to campus. It's probably 20 minutes for me, but it's only about 12 minutes from campus.
I'm jealous you guys have courts on campus though. We don't have any courts on campus, and we have like one indoor court with lines on a basketball court at our IM building, but that's really it. So we got to play at Wolverine, like I mentioned, a little private place.
We have, so Timber just opened up like his place, and it's like 5 minutes off campus. I use trying to get more involved. They're setting up like lines and stuff on the tennis courts, but it's all still tennis nets. So we're just gonna buy our own nets and like paint our own lines down once it gets warm enough. So
rollout nets are not necessarily my favorite. They kind of give you a lot of funky looks. That's what we have to play on, is we have lines on either side of the tennis courts outside, and then lines on either side of the two tennis courts inside. So we only have those 4 courts indoor that we can play on, and sometimes it gets a little iffy with the tennis players because they'll just sit there for hours on end, and you're like, I'm probably never going to get on this court. Time to just go lift or something. So it gets a little streaky on if you can play or not. Which is why I come home a lot and play, which is super nice, but not everybody on campus has that option to just drive away and go play indoor somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely the teams I've traveled with for tournaments, those are probably the people I'm closer to. Just gotten to know them pretty well over the tournaments, and kind of as we stay in the Airbnbs and go get dinner and stuff. So like we have a separate group chat, like off the group me, of about 8 to 10 of us. And then there's kind of like the guys have their own group chat. I'm not sure if the girls do or not, but like we've got the specific guys that we hang out with all the time. So those are probably the guys I'll hang out with. We'll go out. We haven't been out in a while. We're trying to figure that out, but we went out last semester, had a good time. So like it's nice. A couple of us are older and have our apartments and stuff, so we'll go hang out there and switch around. But it's definitely been a nice like change of pace, like different group of people that I hang out with, as opposed to all my friends that I had from high school coming in. So definitely a new set of friends and super good times at the tournament. I don't know about you guys. I know you guys mentioned like dinner with the other teams and stuff, but I don't know if you do just like individual go with your team somewhere.
Oh yeah, we are kind of in the same boat, like all of us on the competitive team. We hang out outside of practice all the time, meet up for dinner, hang out at each other's houses, have the same group chats, etc. But again, like you said too, definitely us on the competitive team are a lot closer, unfortunately, than on the social team, which we're trying to work that bridge and kind of have more fundraisers and social events. It's just hard when, like you guys said too, there's hundreds of people that are interested in different faces come out each week. So definitely still something in the works. But like, for example, when the 4 of us on the competitive went to like Minnesota, we ended up going to Mall of America and spending a good amount of time there because our flight was at night. So, we do that. We hang out by the pool at tournaments. I always look forward to them. we also, you know, cram all 4 of us usually into one room. So that's some extra bonding right there.
Cool.
So yeah, we're all super close. They're my pickleball family through and through. I think we'd all do anything for each other no matter what. So I love the community that I've gotten to have because of playing pickleball.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, like playing last year, like on the competitive, or last semester and this semester on the competitive team has been some of the best times of my college experience.
Yeah.
It's like a great community, like we were talking about earlier. We're all really good friends with each other, and then we have a pretty good mixing of like our social club too. So usually the competitive guys are hanging out with the social guys, and vice versa. And yeah, it's just a great experience. Everyone loves each other. Everyone's just happy to be out there.
Definitely think like just because like our competitive team's closer, I don't know exactly why. Might just be because like those are the people who are always looking to play. So I think we just see each other more often. I don't necessarily see all the social people in our group me kind of text and be like, hey, who's can play this time, yada yada. Whereas our competitive people are like constantly texting like, hey, who's available today, trying to find games and kind of like what time we're playing, working everybody's homework schedules out. So I think it's kind of just kind of more in tune looking for it.
I would say what makes pickleball different than other collegiate sports, definitely like we mentioned before, the community is super supportive and really great. You know, you walk on the court and it's not a death stare. It's not, you know, people want to take your head off. You walk out there and you know you're going to have a great time. You're going to get people cheering you from the opposite side of the court. You're going to walk off, win or lose, and you know you're going to be like, hey, that was a great point. That was awesome. And even outside of the team too, the community in Ann Arbor is always so supportive of pickleball and our team, and they always want updates. They always want the live stream of whatever tournaments we're at. They're always telling us good luck, and that they want to hear everything that's going on all the time. So, you know, that's just a really great thing to have too. And I've gotten to meet amazing connections just playing at this Wolverine pickleball facility from those who are interested in Michigan pickleball. So whether it's, you know, getting to schedule new open play with different people, or even just like career advice and everything in between too, the community is fantastic.
I think the one thing that really separates pickleball is really anyone can play it. With like other physical activities, for example, like tennis or basketball, you know, you have to practice a bit before you can really step out there and have fun with it. But with pickleball, it doesn't matter how new you are or how experienced you are. There's a good chance if you go out together, you can have some fun playing it. You know, just like anyone can play. Like we have some guys on the basketball team come and play with us, or we have, you know, like a bunch of football guys playing or wrestlers playing. So like, you know, it's like an after practice thing, and they're all excited because, you know, it's pickleball day after practice. And so I don't really think other sports have that ability to, you know, be a fun. You can. It has such a good mix of being fun and social, and then you can add that competitive edge to it. And so that's what I think separates pickleball, especially from, you know, the more high barrier of entry sports.
I feel like other sports, it's kind of a lot of strict deadlines, whereas pickleball, it's a little more flexible, kind of with the tournaments that are currently getting planned. I don't know if it'll get more rigid, but at the moment, it seems like tournaments kind of get pushed forward and backward on weekends, and kind of the dates that they're set. Everybody's trying to like work to make sure everybody can get there, like, get as many people as possible, as opposed to maybe other sports that are like, okay, here's when we're having it, and that's it. If you can make it, you can. If you can't, then it's not on us.
We just became a club sport yesterday, actually, and so we stepped up from like this like a social club to now we're a club sport, and so we're still trying to figure out what all that means. There's a bunch of new things to juggle with all that. We're pretty well known, a bunch of kids that are both like athletes or just want fun things to do, know about us and come out. And they're trying to branch out to different parts of our school. Like for example, we were talking earlier about how everyone can play pickleball. Like one thing we're doing is we're doing like networking nights with like the business school and some of the like med students, where instead of, you know, you have a recruiter and you like typical career fair, you know, like you go up to the recruiter and you talk to them. There's like 20 other kids. We're doing the recruiters come and you play pickleball with them. You know, give you a more like interactive experience, kind of almost how people play golf with, you know, like business golf. And we're trying to turn that into pickleball. And so the school's been really open arms about it, and they really like our ideas. So I think we're trying to get ingrained throughout it, and it's going really well.
That's a really great idea. I might have to borrow that one from you. We are not an official club sport yet. We're waiting on an application to open to apply to be a club sport. We meet all the requirements, so we're just waiting for that button to open so I can submit it. But in terms of funding from the school, we get quite a bit of funding, but not as much as we would hope for, especially like I mentioned, playing at a private facility. The costs are high, and we have a coach too. So having both of those, we have to do dues. So we're, running fundraisers and stuff like that, which is really helpful. And kind of going off what Sam said, like getting other sports involved too. On our team, we have some Michigan field hockey players. We partner with the other schools when we do fundraisers too, like the kinesiology school, the business school, grad students, everyone in between. So we have a lot of support. And every time we do those like organization fairs, everyone's like, oh my God, it's Club Pickleball. I have to join. This is awesome. And yeah, I would say we're pretty supported by our community.
Are you guys paying your coach?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
We just
we're
have
very
volunteers.
fortunate enough to be able to do that. And he's very flexible with us too, because we practice like 9 to 11 p.m. at night. So it's the when we can get the cheapest rates and for the most court space. So he's great. His name's Jake Fredrickson. Great guy.
It's awesome.
Now, is he like a touring pro or just kind of like a local, like good player?
Local 5.0 player.
Because I currently, like, as far as like we're set up, like I'm the one, like before practice, like I'll send out like a group me poll message, be like, okay, who's coming to practice? And then once I get the numbers in, I'll kind of devise a practice plan. And like the first 45 minutes, I'll be like, okay, let's do these drills, kind of work on this. And then I'll attach like links to different pickleball drills, like Dane Greenwich I follow on Instagram. So like I'll follow his links, kind of go from there and be like, okay, let's work on this, and play different drills and then kind of set it up with games at the end. But as far as like funding for us, we did dues this last semester, and then this semester, if you were new joining, we got official club sport status at the beginning of last semester. I'm not on the financial side of our board, so I don't know what the funding looks like. They usually just tell me, they're like, okay, here's our budget. And I kind of try and stay within that as much as I can. And then outside of that, we just kind of as players, take care of it. The rest of our expenses on our own. But we don't have like a coach expense or a court expense at the moment. I think we're trying to work through the university to see if we can get more funding.
Are you guys nonprofits?
I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you.
We're a nonprofit, which helps a little bit with funding because like the school can use it as a tax write-off. So it gives us a little bit of advantage.
Gotcha. I think like any like tournament winnings and stuff, it's set up to where it goes back into the club to help pay for future tournaments. So trying to do as many fundraisers, I think, as we can.
Yeah, us too.
Keep sending us to more tournaments, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the biggest thing at the moment is fundraising within schools, just because it's so new. I don't know, like especially with like the MLP right now isn't bringing in as much money as they would like. So like the PPA merger and everything. So I think everybody's still trying to figure out like where the money lies and kind of how to get in and tap into that market and get the fundraising to play.
Definitely. I was very sad about Duper cutting the travel stipends this semester. We were finally going to get ours back because we'd used ours for last year. And I was, had that worked into the budget. And then they were like, no. And I was like, dang it. Come on. We needed that. So I'm hoping they bring that back for future years. But yeah, you're definitely right. There are some things that need to change in terms of, getting those profits in pickleball. But I don't think we're far off from reaching that goal.
MLP was trying to commercialize it and be able to watch it on TV, and that's kind of that format. But I think the PPA kind of has a little bit of a stronghold on viewership at the moment. I don't know if you guys watch, but I try to watch as many
all the time
as I can. Like I said, like that same like niche group that I hang out with is like the same people who are watching the pro tournaments, and then I think everybody else on our competitive team thinks we're a little nuts on how much we watch and play, but that's all right.
Yeah, I definitely know that feeling for sure. Have you guys traveled to like see any of them like played in person. I know I went to the PPA in Cincinnati in the fall. It was just awesome. Like just seeing them like in person instead of like on Instagram or on YouTube. I was like in awe. I'm saying that with my mouth like to the floor. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I still can't really watch like pro pickleball. I just get bored.
No,
I get so bored. I'd rather just be playing, you know, because we
Yeah.
can play anytime. I'd rather just go and
Yeah,
play.
I guess if you can play at Timber's facility anytime, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Whereas I try and sit and like watch on like specific things that I need to work on and see like how the different pros are hitting it and kind of take like bits and pieces of their game and then drill it and see if I can kind of work out if I can get it to work in my own way.
I do the same thing for sure. I'm definitely a kind of a watch learner. If I'm like trying to like depict their shots and be like, okay, I can, watch them do it and then I can attempt and then tweak it as I go. So I'm the same way, Jayce.
Yeah. And Sam, you got to get it caught up here.
We'll get you addicted to watching. Don't worry.
All right.
We'll have to get you there in person. We'll do like a Big Ten in person, like watch party. And then
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's what I need.
If we got Big Ten, I think we can rope Maryland into it. Maybe we can rope the Johns into it.
Oh yeah. I just found out Matt Wright went to Michigan. I can, get him coming in maybe.
You guys got any pro players, Sam?
No, I don't think so.
Indiana?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Good point.
It's a great part about trying these tournaments is they're always in a new, like last year they were all in Lifetime facilities and this time we're going to Pickle House. So getting to explore new venues to play in is always very exciting. Getting to go to Chicago is exciting. Getting to see, Jayce and Sam again in person and getting all the clubs together. Always really fun, and the potential to win money that doesn't hurt. And just getting to play, honestly, getting to play against really competitive schools. The atmosphere is one you cannot compare it to. So everything's exciting about getting to go play in those tournaments.
For us, I think we're walking in this tournament the most prepared we've ever been, just because last semester was all last minute. We found out like that Duper even existed like a couple of weeks before we were gonna play in it. Like we really didn't know what was going on, and we were just taking it day by day. But we've been prepping for this one. We actually know what's going on. We have like friendly faces all around us. So
we've got a couple new partnerships, so looking to see like how that goes, especially kind of like underneath like a competitive environment instead of just rec play against other good players, kind of see how everybody holds up in like an actual competitive tournament environment. Seeing everybody again will be nice. Like Suzanne mentioned, hopefully we can win some money for the club. That'd be nice. It's always the goal to make it as far as you can. That's a good top end goal to meet. But definitely just excited to play tournaments again. I'm super competitive ever since graduating high school. Kind of just always look for that competitive nature again in something. And now that I found it in pickleball, kind of hopefully we can keep going from there. And then the tournaments for me are really fun. Kind of induce that environment of the pressure, but perform. So hopefully everything goes well.
I got a super random question for you guys. So
Shoot.
for me, I get more nervous when I'm in pickleball like tournaments than like any other athletic thing I've ever done in my life. Are you guys the same thing? Same way?
I used to have insane like anxiety when like going into like a track meet. I'd be there on the line just shaking in my boots, all up in my head. Same thing with playing soccer. And I feel like coming to pickleball, because the environment is so different, and like even my teammates, there's not that you miss a shot, they're giving you a death look, or they're rolling your eyes or making some comment about how you have to make the shot. They're like, all right, just get the next one. So
Yeah.
the change in environment like changed my like take on being in that competitive environment. So I definitely know exactly what you're talking about, but now I just kind of go in confident, knowing to just focus on each shot at a time and then focus on the next one if it doesn't go right.
Yeah, because that's so interesting, because I'm the exact opposite way. Like in high school, I wouldn't be nervous like walking into a tennis match. With pickleball now, because it's such a weird like new environment, I get kind of nervous.
Definitely there. I'm usually nervous for about like the first game. So usually like when I played men's doubles, it's a little more nerve-wracking. And then once I'm warm, like I'm ready to go for mixed. Like when we play the MLP stuff with Duper, like that style. So it definitely it takes me like a game to warm up. Same thing when I was in high school, kind of just always took me like one match to get ready. But I definitely think like having kind of like the mental strength from all that stuff to kind of just like block stuff out and just focus on, like, there's a bunch of points to be played, so losing one or messing one up isn't going to affect the entire outcome. I definitely think, like, if you play like sets, like I enjoy playing sets like 2 out of 3 because I think anything can happen in one game.
Yeah.
But if you get a set of 3, then that kind of shows like, okay, like if you dominate 2 of them, or like if you lose one and then come back and win the next couple, kind of lets you get the nerves out and then keep playing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you mentioned that first game rockiness, because that happens to me too. The first game's always like, oh no. And then after that, it kind of gets steady and takes off from there. So I agree with you with having best 2 out of 3. So you finally get your footing, your grounding, and then you play your game.
It always comes down to like, I'm trying to be like, make too many shots or make the shots too perfect instead of just kind of, okay, it's
Playing.
okay to make errors, but just kind of minimize them, but give yourself breathing room on the court, because having a kitchen, you can neutralize stuff. So it's a lot different than other sports where it's like, okay, have to be on all the time versus I can be a little off and still be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So going forward for me, I graduate in May. So post-graduation, my plans are actually I'm going to grad school at the Ohio State University, getting my master's in supply chain management. So go Bucks after the semester. And last month I actually got my coaching certificate. So I've been doing a lot of extra coaching. So I guess moving forward, specifically with pickleball, I'm going to keep playing in tournaments. I love playing in them with my mom. She's my women's doubles partner. And I know my mixed partner, even though he's got a year left of, playing competitively, he's always down to play in local tournaments and everything. So I'm going to continue to play, continue to coach, and even maybe go and coach the Michigan team next fall.
So what are you looking for after this semester as far as pickleball goes, Sam?
Well, interesting you talked about your parents. So both my parents just started playing a couple weeks ago. And so right now my biggest concern is trying to get them to stop fighting about pickleball. The big argument right now is my dad will like jump in my mom's way to get a ball, but then he doesn't go back. And so they hit it to like where he was and then lose the point. And so I'm on like my 4th phone call today from my mom complaining about it. And so yeah, so if I can get their chemistry up, that's my biggest priority right now, because we got to keep the winning streak going. But like I said, we just got introduced as a club sport, so we have some new things to juggle out. How many kids do you guys have on your competitive team? I know you guys talked about it before.
We have 12.
I think we're close to 40 maybe.
Okay.
Or like in the competitive group me, but I think we only have like 8 or 10 that are like consistently wanting to go to tournaments.
So one thing we're trying to figure out now is, we have like that group of 24, and that's a pretty large group. So we're trying to figure out how to get everyone involved, just, because these deeper tournaments can get kind of expensive, and we obviously can't send 6 teams out. So I think that's our biggest step is trying to figure out how to get people that want to play competitive the opportunity to play.
You have one more year left, Sam?
Yeah, I do.
Lucky.
I know. No.
Yeah, I know. Jayce, you got one more year left too. Any still going to be playing competitive with the team? Any future plans?
Yeah, I'll still be playing with the team. So at the moment, kind of trying to figure out practices and everything. Ideally, hopefully by this summer, I might try and start playing in some of like the APP pro qualifiers or something like that.
Love that.
So like that'd be fun. So hopefully like after college, continue playing. Whether it's like 5-0 rec play or leagues or just after work. It'd be nice if I could make this work, because real life doesn't sound like fun at the moment. I would love to just keep playing pickleball, maybe pick up paddle sponsorship, something like that, kind of trying to figure out how that works on the individual side as well as like on a club side. Like how does it look for individual players? Like I know we have people who are ambassadors for different programs, but we don't have anybody like sponsored. But keep playing college pickleball. I think hopefully I'll graduate in 4.5 years. So I've got including this semester, another 4 semesters, I think, maybe something like that around there. So hopefully keep playing. Luckily, there's no like NCAA regulations on how long you can play. So can just keep playing college pickleball for now.
Yo, so if you can play for Ohio State next year, are you going to join forces with them? Or are you just going to coach?
I'm really heavily thinking about it. I kind of told Natalie, I'm really good friends with her. She's on the Ohio State team, kind of talked to her about my master's program. The master's program's like 50% online, 50% in person. So I kind of still have to decide whether I'm staying in Ann Arbor, or if I'm moving to Columbus, kind of what my plans are. Unfortunately, they're still a little up in the air, but I mean, you never know. I would love to play again if Ohio State will have me.
We're always looking for more competitive people. I think it's especially hard to find competitive girls. That's probably where
Oh,
we
yeah,
lack. There's a
no,
lot of
yeah,
guys
for
that
That's a
want
good
to play.
sign for me then.
I feel like there's always like we have like a group of like 6 girls right now that are pretty strong, and then everybody else on the competitive team is pretty good. But I definitely think it's harder to find girls that are more interested in the competitive side other
yeah, for
than
sure.
just like
That's
socially
a huge
playing.
problem we've had.
We only have 3 girls, including myself. So we like always try to heavily recruit girls, like club tennis girls.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know, honestly, anybody. So yeah, we're in that same boat of trying to build our girl players, to create more of those MLP teams, because we have so many guys and we wish we could send more MLP teams, but just with the lack of females, unfortunately, we can only send one. But you know, Duper does offer those open divisions, which is really, really nice. So our players still get to go compete at that level. But yeah, I don't know. What are you guys doing to try to recruit girls and get them in?
We had a really when we were really desperate at the start of the last semester, we just went through the club tennis like team roster and just DM like every girl we could. Like, hey, have you ever played pickleball before? Now we have like a group of like 12 solid girls. But our biggest thing, one of our biggest problems with that is like Mev is like amazing, like like once in a lifetime generational, and so we just have some girls that are just trying it out for the first time, and then there's a huge gap up to Mev.
Yeah, that's the thing we're trying to balance too, is our competitive team, you know, we're all, you know, really high level players. And then like you mentioned, like some people are just trying coming out, and especially like trying to get those females out there. There's that huge gap. So it's really hard to like, I don't know, we're just trying to figure out how to bring them in without them coming in and, you know, maybe not having
Exactly.
experience because they're not at the same level. So I'm not sure what you guys are doing with that or have any advice with that, but that's definitely something we're
Yeah,
facing.
no. If you figure out how to deal with that, let us know. Love to know.
Okay, sounds like so we're all on the same page of we got to figure out how to get more girls involved. I
Yeah.
think I've got a friend on the actual women's tennis team here that I went to high school with. So I'm hoping like maybe I can just like she knows a couple people that like after they graduate, they're done with their NCAA eligibility, but they're still going like masters or like
Ooh,
working in the area. So I'm trying to see like if maybe I can like get her to just be
that would
like,
be clutch.
and then just like because I know Mev played tennis at Minnesota, so like
Yeah.
maybe if I did the same thing, like just steal girls that did play D1 tennis, and then hopefully it's not like a super tough transition.
Mm.
All right, I will see you guys next weekend. Hopefully everybody has a good week of school up until then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys too. Looking forward to hanging out and, you know, seeing who comes out on top next weekend.
Yeah. Best of luck, guys.